Welcome to my channel. My name is Valerio and today we're gonna review the DyGenGuar, a diecast model from Sentinel belonging to the line Riobot. For the one interested to purchasing this model, I bought mine from Amazon Japan for around 280 USD or something like that. And for the one that I never heard about this robot, they come straight up from Super Robot Wars original generation, and then obviously it did appear in pretty much all the other Super Robot Wars video games. And it is quite striking for a few of its features. First, it looks like a samurai. Second, it is pretty extreme into a lot of its design elements. Now, if you're used to Sentinel toys and Riobot toys, they know that they're well known for being small, pretty light on die cast, but very posable. Well, this is not. This is extremely large. It has light gimmicks. It is fairly heavy, and well, poseability is second to no one, and everything is implemented with ratchet joints. Now, as usual, if you're used to my diecast review, which not many people watch in English anyway, we start with accessories, then we move into the robot, we do comparison and conclusion. So this is a manual. The manual, please look at it before you start to move it as a proper action figures, because there are some things that you can do with the robot and some things that you cannot do. And if you move it in some order versus some other one, you might break some parts. You really want to look into how to move stuff in one order versus another one and where to put strength. It's not fragile, but the ratchets are very strong and you risk to ruin it. Now, there are two different kind of face for every face, for a total of 6 faces if I'm not wrong. They are with transparent eyes and with pre-painted eyes, which I love, so that if you don't turn on the light gimmicks, it still looks full of life. Now there is a hanger face, a disgusted face, and a neutral face. And into a limited edition of the robot that was on D4 Toys, there is also an half dark face, which I found really cool and which I regret a tiny bit not to buy. Anyway, they're very expressive and extremely well done. So this looks like the tabard of a sword. Anyway, it has a magnet inside as it turns to light on the lights. This is the small sword of the two and is way over 10 inches. It is 7 inches. This is the giant sword out of it, and I think it's 20 inches. So you see, it looks like a not so small sword in my hand, and my hand are huge. This, for comparison, is the SMP SRX sword, and it is as big as, but the SMP SRX sword, it is just that it is a bit bigger than the Riobot one from Sentinel. Now this is one of the arm of the display stand. I don't know why did they put it, if not for super action pose, because the display stand has also a new kind of arm, which has been the first time that I saw anything new on a display stand with the Super Robot Wars. These are all the kind of plugs if you want to keep the robot in the most extreme position, and there are some to keep the swords on an angle in the end, which are great so you don't get to stress too much the joint of the fingers. Now, yeah, there are a ton of them for different angle, different ends. Really depends how you want to keep them. And now the new display stand looks very similar to the old one, but there is a difference. There is a ratchet joint at the point with a metal plug for the robot, so that even if it's heavy, and this robot it is fairly heavy, it will not break the points even if you put it on weird angles. Now also the full plastic arm below it is quite different from the old one. Kind of reminds me a bit of the Flame Toys one, but it's not exactly the same. It is better. Now we're gonna look at our robot, and as you can see, the image is very striking. As a first thing, this is like I think it's 11 inches, something like that, and it's always kind of confusing when Sentinel put the official height of the robot before the release, because then you find out they're wrong, because they measure like of the tip of the head. They don't measure the shoulder, the horns or anything, which makes them look smaller than they are. This is actually a very large model, so over 10 inches. Let's put it like this, more close to 11, 12 than 10. Now it is sharp, so pay attention, don't leave it in the hands of kids, they will stab themselves. It is extremely stable. Yeah, so various shoes. There is die cast into the robot, obviously the joint, but even inside the frame, I think most of the frame is most likely made of metal. It is fairly heavy. I want to guess it's gonna get closer to a couple of pounds, so maybe 800 grams, just to give a comparison, between 800 grams and 1 kilograms, so 2 pounds. Now it is super stable in your hand, because the first thing that we're gonna notice now is articulation. Now, as you can see, the head can move left and right. Don't go 360. Why not? Fundamentally, because there is the light inside of the neck, so you're gonna snap the cable. Anyway, there is a double ball joint, one on the head and one at the base of the neck. And you can make any kind of pose you want to. Very, very free to do so. Just don't do the 360, otherwise you're gonna break it. Now the arms are gonna reach shoulder level, even higher. Why? Because their joint is connected to the shoulder joint, so it's like the butterfly joint raised extremely high. And it is weird. First, the joints are super hard, so follow the instruction now to move them at least the first time. They're super stable, they're all ratcheted. I post-edit the sound so you're not able to hear it, but trust me, it is very strong. It can do the wheel, the spin wheel, kind of 360 one side. They go extremely high. As you can see, there is a tiny bit of piece of the shoulder that moves. Yeah, sorry, I didn't do the best shot. Anyway, the ratchet are pretty precise, so there is really not many positions you will not be able to put. Now, as you can see, I'm not a small man, but I'm having some difficulties. You can almost close completely the arm, and I'm pretty sure if you force it, you can go even more. There is a part that you're supposed to open, and I didn't, and I can reach more. There are some tiny rockets into the elbow, as it's supposed to. Very, very good. Anyway, there is a bicep swivel. The fingers are fully articulated. There is a butterfly joints. The wrist, it is on a base that can move. Now, don't put too much strength, otherwise, yeah, the finger are gonna snap, but it's just me putting a bit too much strength. Now, if you keep it with just a tiny bit of attention, nothing is gonna happen. Now, butterfly joint, yes, there is. It works in quite a bit of way than usual, like they quite use the design of the DyGenGuar to use it. It's not super extended. I wonder if more can be done, but still, proportion helps so that it can keep any kind of poses. Now, ratchet onto the upper part of the waist, ratchet onto the lower part of the waist. You see it does the teapot, one side, the other one. Now, in order to move the waist, you need to open the skirts, so that's why the instructions tell you not to put too much strength over it. And now you see, now you're free to do the 360, still ratcheted. Why do I like ratchet? So I can keep the most hardcore position with all the weight that he has without flopping too much over the years. So you see ratchet on one way, you're really able to see the ratchet here. Front ratchet, left ratchet, the skirt on the back can move. So to help you with more dynamic position. And now there are the usual rocket behind, if you're familiar with the DyGenGuar design. Now there is possibility of rotation. Oh, sorry, it can go fully up, but pay attention to stabbing. Now everything is ratchet, knee ratchet. It can close pretty high up. Yep, pretty cool. It can rotate on the quad. These things has also some ratchet. Pretty intense, guys. This is ratchet everywhere. Not as extreme as the compatible Kaiser, but still pretty extreme. Now, if you can see, sorry, I have to check the instruction as well. So you need to raise the overskirt before it, and to move the feet, you need to move it by stylon, not by the tip. I don't think you're gonna break it, but you know, this is an expensive figure, so let's avoid any risk and follow the instruction. The below of the feet is painted. If you want to go in on the tip, that is ratchet as well. Very, very stable. Okay, here it is. Let me see if I did forget anything. Oh yes, there are these tiny pistons that move up and down once you move the heel. Very, very cool. Honestly, articulation wise, this is everything that I want. There are a couple of figures that have a tiny bit more, but we're speaking like tiny bit, and nothing with ratchet as good as this one, because the compatible Kaiser has similar ratchet, but in a couple of places they've been at that where they don't belong, or I think they are harder. I can see this is a step over it. Very loving it. Is articulation, the pose it can take. As of now, I'm completely satisfied. Now we're gonna look at the gimmicks. So there is a light gimmick function. In order to use it, we will need to swap the head, one with the transparent eye, and it's not like you will not be able to see the light. You just want to get the best bangs for what you've done, so you swap with the face with transparent eyes. Sorry, I'm doing it while I should edit a tiny bit more, but I think the length of the video is still within the realm of reason. Now you have to unplug the chest, and don't worry, it's not something that you need to do every time. You have to do it only once, and you have to do it only once to remove the tiny plastic, the tiny piece of plastic that blocks the batteries. So at that point, then you can just put the magnets nearby the head, and the heads are gonna turn on and become produce light, become enlightened. Sorry, you see, turn it on, but you don't need to remove the chest. You can do it directly from over the chest. Okido. Ching. The light is pretty good. I have two pretty powerful light in front of him right now, and I can still see it. I will try to show it now into the dark, but first let's do the same kind of process from the shoulder pads. You see the golden rings there. You have to open onto this side, and I recommend you have a spladger or a toothpick, something not in metal, to remove this kind of gray plastic thingy. And it is painted, but the color ivory is not super easy. Anyway, I plug it back. Now you put the battery, you put the magnet, the tilt of the swirl magnet. You attach the part back, and the next time you'll be able to turn it on and off even without removing, even without removing the plastic bag. You just have to keep it on a particular angle. Now let me see if I'm able to turn off the light. Oh, there it is. You see, easy magnet activated, not too many batteries, because I think the CCS stuff of putting 25 batteries inside the robot is pretty annoying. And even the Flame Toys one, same, too many batteries. Not a giant fan. Now we're gonna go for a tiny bit of comparison. And as normally, we start with Lego Dude. Lego Dude is very, very small by comparison. Cool, but very small. Now the Amakuni Kizinki Jader. It is smaller. It doesn't look like because it's chunky. This is the Akabe Metal Robot, very, very small, and I think quite proportionate because it's supposed to be less than half. Flame Toys, Altizen, I very love it, this kit, however, proportion-wise doesn't fit at all, and is scale-wise doesn't fit, and proportion should be like way different. Yaldabaoth, I think is in scale, not compatible Kaiser. Estolezin, maybe a tiny bit less. Very good product, both of them extremely good, like top of the line. SRX is a tiny bit taller. It looks way taller, but actually if you go on the top of the shoulder pad, maybe it's like less than half an inch taller, but the head is in a higher position. It's just DyGenGuar, this really high one. Now these are all my diecast one for Super Robot Walls. Missed the Bayfold because I'm not able to find it on a decent price. And as you can see, they're pretty impressive bunch, but some of them are not scale. Now let's go with the scale one. So I will put some of them from my HG collection and SMP, and you can see that we added in scale Altizen. We have an in scale Gaspent and a 1 centimeter too short Sidebuster, plus the bump radius in the back, which is absolutely massive, guys. It tower all of them, and I wasn't able to put the one of the Akabane inside because space. Anyway, guys, so for comparison, fits perfectly well, especially if you have a combo of model kit and diecast. You're able to have everything. The only one that doesn't fit is the Altizen. Now for conclusion. So if you're one of the few people that watch both my English and my Italian video, you might have noticed that I mentioned that this might be my robot of the year for quite a few reasons. This year has been a fantastic year for diecast robot collector. However, and I didn't buy everything that there is on the market. I bought only the stuff that I was interested into. So obviously, when I speak my robot of the year, this is my robot of the year. If you bought stuff that I don't have, you might have better ones within the list. And why do I recommend it? Well, let's start with pro and cons. I don't see any cons if not the exclusivity of one of the giant swords. That is a bit annoying, and one of the heads. Everything else is pretty much perfect for me, like honestly perfect. Well balanced, they fix everything that they had to fix. Maybe the issue is that it's very massive, but this is scale with the others, so it makes me really happy. The scale modeler inside of me. I love the ratchet. I love the articulation, how much you can pose it in very extreme poses. I love the stability that it has. The color is great. Maybe the red looks a tiny bit better in camera, but it's still pretty good on its own. I'm not a giant fan of lighting gimmick, but in this case they implemented it in an easy way and not annoying, not to have 25 different batteries ready for it. Obviously the perfection would have been to charge it through induction or through USB, but still I'm okay with it. That will limit a bit poseability. And weight, perfect. Like once you have in your hand, you say, okay, yes, I can feel where my money went material wise, which doesn't always happen, especially with Sentinel. Even if lately Sentinel's been doing extremely great also in that. Now, do I recommend it? So if you're a Super Robot Wars or OJ original generation fan, yeah, 100%, this is really a must buy. Don't think about it, you're gonna be happy about it. If you're just a giant robot collector, this is absolutely another must buy. If you have the Soul of Chogokin one, so this is much better than the Soul of Chogokin in quite every possible way. Not because the Soul of Chogokin was bad, no, actually that was an excellent product. However, it's an older product at this point. Now, if you don't want to buy this one because you didn't see his partner transforming in horse yet, I'm fairly positive eventually Sentinel will present it. Still not there yet, but I think maybe before the end of the year we will see. I'm still waiting for a proper waist written and an Altizen, but I'm sure they're gonna arrive. Anyway, from me is everything. This is very good product. Have a nice day, guys.